So I want to apologize for the Mauler videos slightly because they've sort of gotten a little off track and the playlist is a little out of control. So I'm going to try to structure the videos more. And I really didn't respond to the latest part of his nonsense, what he calls a objective critique, eh? Because it doesn't exist. He never proves it does exist. The critique itself is not a critique. It's definitely not objective, and it doesn't seem to have much substance. But what's really extraordinary is it completely conflicts with the other objective critique. There's really not much to respond to in those videos because he's not saying anything, but hey, I want more clicks, so I'm going to respond to it, but really, he ain't saying anything. I'm going to prove this factually, unlike him. When he brings up the issue of the mole and Finn in The Force Awakens, and you might ask, what is he talking about? A mole in what? I don't understand. I'm with you. I don't understand what he's saying either.
How do you know he isn't a spy?
Bye. Well,
How can you trust him as much as you seemingly trust everyone in this room? I guess Han and Leia just aren't as smart as they used to be.
Maul.
Oh, shut up!
Anyway, Finn says he wants to help, considering the Starkiller base is where Rey was taken, but that's a bit odd. How would Finn know that Kylo took Rey to the base rather than his destroyer? That's where he took Poe, and Snoke isn't on either of them. So
Okay, so Finn is a mole. Leia and Han are stupid for not presuming he's a mole. The evidence that he's a mole is the best I can come up with, honestly, is well, Finn used the Millennium Falcon to come to the Rebel base. So therefore, the First Order should be able to track them. The rebellion is dead, therefore he's a mole. And the fact that they don't jump to that shows bad movie, bad writing. Well, the obvious dilemma with that would be, well, then Han Solo is also a mole. Chewbacca is also a mole. BB-8 is also a mole. But we'll put that aside. But then, with The Last Jedi, he has different thoughts on the mole question.
just answer the question. He is your fleet commander. People respect him. Despite his demotion, nobody else is currently in his place. So tell him your plan. Why did you deflect to this criticism of his methods? Why aren't you behaving like a normal human? Unless she doesn't have a plan, and she's stalling. Maybe she's a double agent. Regardless, this dialogue does not flow. The reason the comment is strange outside of etiquette is that since the bombing fleet was so horribly designed, taking out the Dreadnought was a miracle. Atop of the fact that if they hadn't, the Dreadnought would have destroyed them all by now. And then combo that with the fact that if they had all light speeded out, their entire fleet would be picked off right now because the bombers would be useless. The Dreadnought, the Supremacy, the Star Destroyers, and the fighters would have easy pickings. Finally, in hindsight, Poe made a decision that saved everyone's lives, again, as he has done several times, so stop treating him like a child. This scene is not only an example of poor dialogue, it is filmmaking 101 in terms of setting up a villain.
So apparently, Holdo thinking there's a mole? No, that's not possible. Why? There's a little bit of counter evidence. That's definitive answer. There can't be a mole. The mole hypothesis is not possible in The Last Jedi. So even if you have a little bit of evidence to say not a mole, the not mole hypothesis is the right one to choose. Okay? But with The Force Awakens, Finn is a mole based on zero evidence. There's literally zero evidence, but they should presume he's a mole, even though there's massive counter evidence that he's not a mole, and he's not a mole. He's never exposed as a mole. The story is not about him being the mole. In fact, we know he's not a mole. Han Solo can testify. He ain't a mole. BB-8 can tell them he ain't a mole. Chewbacca can tell them he ain't a mole. Rey can tell them he's not a mole. They have a lot of evidence. He is not a mole at all. In fact, we definitely know he's not a mole because he tried to leave. We literally have an entire scene where he tells them, I'm going to leave, and he acts like he's going to leave, and he almost is about to leave. If he was going to be the mole, why would he be trying to leave? They see this. They hear him. We see it. So is Mauler blind? Is he stupid? Is he such a racist, sexist, moronic fascist? He's just going to misrepresent the entire films? Was he lazy? I don't know, but definitely mole hypothesis in film A is completely contradicted by mole hypothesis in film B. But here's another problem. He keeps talking about The Last Jedi with The Force Awakens, as if they're the same film. Okay, fine, they're the same film. That's a complete self-contradiction. So unless you have an insanely extraordinary definition for the mole, it would seem using normal words, this isn't adding up. So in one case, a mole is a mole based on almost zero evidence. A mole is not a mole if we find even a little counter-evidence.
What's interesting here is that none of this clues any of them into the idea that Finn is a mole.
Where? What? Where's that mole? I didn't see one.
Leia and co. are willing to trust everything that comes out of his mouth, despite many of his recommendations coming in way too late when compared with his espoused values. His plans amount to Han and Chewie being sent alone to the Starkiller base.
Nice to meet you, Mole. Don't say Mole. I said Mole.
Yes, he was shot at with Poe, and he helped get BB-8 to the Resistance, but he also neglected to inform them of the base.
Okay, that's a complete logical self-contradiction. That's not possible. You can't maintain both statements. You can't maintain both standards. Something has to give. And he never explains. So it seems like mole is just being used as a magical word. It means whatever he wants it to mean. Well, if that's the case, then all these words, Mary Sue, Plothole, they just mean what he wants them to mean when he wants it to mean something, which means it's just drivel. It's just babbling nonsense. So the point of these videos is, okay, I get it, you hate Rey. Hating Rey is popular. Hating Rey will make you money. Okay, fine, good. So what? We knew that already. You hate Rey. You don't like Rey. Why don't you like Rey? Oh, the objective reasons. No, you don't have that. We all have reasons. No, you don't have reasons either. You just have a lot of moronic babbling. You just keep plugging in Rey and Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams every 3 seconds and have a lot of prequel clips and magic! He proved objectively Rey don't make no sense. He proved objectively Finn is a mole. But you haven't proven anything. You didn't even prove the first thing. What is this objective critico? What is objectivity? Could you please define it? Could you rigorously give a definition and then apply it? No, I'm not going to do that either. Well, then you haven't said anything, you fucking moron. This has just been a complete waste of time. You can hate Rey. You can hate Finn. You can call them whatever you please. You can call them a mole or blue dogfish or blue dog meat or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. If you want to make money spreading hatred, that's your prerogative. What does it have to do with objectivity or critiques or anything? Or a serious film discussion? I don't know, but apparently it does. He says so. Well, here's the thing. I don't believe you because you're not making any sense at all.